You mentioned independence as one of the things that you're looking for. That is something that I would say too. But as I'm actually, out here doing it completely on my own, I think I'm kind of realizing that yes, I do love my independence, but I also do love being around the people that I care about. And there is something as great as the flexibility that I have of being able to live and work where I want. There's also something special about being more settled down, becoming a part of community, knowing everything that's going on there. And so I'm kind of struggling with my independence in terms of what I want. But I feel like you have just been so independent your whole life because you just moved around so much and you've just had to figure things out, being on your own all the time. Where do you fall on independence and how easy or difficult it is?
I think the pandemic has taught me a lot about how I feel about independence, which I am definitely introverted. I like my own space. I like governing my own schedule, but I also need human interaction.
Yeah, we
I
all do.
actually recently joined a gym where I do the yoga. I joined a gym because even if I'm not talking to anyone, I just need to see humans.
For sure.
Um, but beyond that, I really value my friendships. So my two best friends, they live in London. We went to high school together in Rome, and even though we're so far away, I value having them as my support system and being able to talk to them and share with them. And so when I speak about independence, that's more in the work sense. So not feeling like
Gotcha.
anchored down anywhere, but I definitely want to live a life that's closer to my friends, um, because it gets lonely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've certainly experienced this just in the last few months. I certainly experienced it for a while in Connecticut, and I'm sure you probably did as well. Just navigating loneliness when you are feeling low and lonely and isolated and a little sad. How do you get through it?
Well, loneliness for me, it's almost like what do they call it? Seasonal depression.
Hmm.
It's one of those things that I don't, it's hard for me to recognize in the moment. And so if I go through 3 months of a Connecticut winter and then, go to the beach, then I'm like, wow, I needed the sunshine. But in those 3 months, I didn't realize it. I was just sad. And sometimes that happens to me when I spend a few days at home and don't talk to humans, that I'm just like mopey and like lethargic, and then I get out and I feel alive again. So um, going to the gym and doing yoga has definitely helped. Now
Yeah.
I'm friends with the receptionist. We talk. Um, she's really nice, and with my classmates, I try to connect with them as well. But part of the difficulty of the pandemic is, this last year, my first year in grad school, has been almost fully remote.
Right.
Um, and so I spend my day at the computer doing Zoom all day. And then you just close the computer and you're home alone. And so I realize on the one hand, it makes learning awkward sometimes, especially when it comes to design. But it's also, I never realized how much you get out of those, like the 5 minutes before class and the 5 minutes after class, that you're just, talking about the weather with the person next to you. Like that's very valuable for us as social people. So um, it's one of those things that in the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, oh well, I keep to myself, so I'll be fine.
Right.
But now I'm realizing that I am looking forward to getting more of that personal engagement again.
Yeah. I've come to the same realizations as you. Because working remotely during the pandemic at ESPN, everyone that I was working with via Zoom and such, I had already known and met and chit chatted around with at the office for years. But now, the people that I'm working with, I have actually never really even met face to face in person before, and so it is a different dynamic. It is lonely, and I do find myself, man, like I do kind of miss an office vibe. I do kind of miss just that 5 minutes of chit chat and just guys talking about like at ESPN, just guys talking about sports or BSing and breaking each other's balls and whatnot. I do miss that vibe. So I fully get what you're going through there.